Welcome to Face to Face. In this episode, we will welcome a great person from Somali who came from Somali, studied in Turkey, and now working at Turkish Red Crescent, the largest Turkish relief organization in Turkey. He is with us right now, Mr. Said Ali Nur. Welcome to my program. Welcome to Face Turkey.
Thanks a lot for you inviting such a great program like this. And I'm really happy and pleased to meet with you and with your team.
Mr. Said Ali Nur, you came here for studying your undergraduate program after getting a scholarship, as you were the second top student in your school in Somali. And for being the second toppest student in your school, you were selected by the Turkish scholarship authorities. So why did you choose Turkey for higher study?
Really, in Somalia, our history, when in the secondary school, we studied a lot of topics from Turkish Ottoman Empire. And as I was the second top student in my school, in my secondary school, I had a lot of chance to go outside Somali, like to the Bangladesh, to the India, to Malaysia, and the government or the international institution, they give me a lot of scholarship. But why I chose Turkey? Because in 2011, as you know, in Somalia there were drought and famine, the natural disaster, and the Turkish people, they come to us, and the first international flight after 20 years, it was the flight that came with the president of at that time he was the Prime Minister of Turkey, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan. And at that time, the Turkish people and the Turkish government, they helped us. And I was admiring what they done in Somalia. That's why I chose to study in Turkey and to get a lot of experience from what they done for us and for all Somali nation. That's why I chose Turkey for my higher education.
Yeah, in 2011, you mentioned 2011, Turkey launched a campaign, a huge campaign for Somalian people, humanitarian campaign, Turkish politicians, Turkish president, Turkish organization, Turkish relief organization, humanitarian organization, even Turkish television channels. All of them launched a huge campaign for Somalian people, and at that time, Turkey actually makes Somalia an international, a global issue at that time. And then Somalia became the attention, international, the point of attention in international arena. That's actually a very important. And I was in Turkey at that time, and I can remember that days that all television channels, they had advertisement, even they organized, they hold some a special program to collect money, special donation raising programs in television channels. And also you mentioned that Turkey, Ottoman Empire has a great impact on Somalia, and Somali schools, they teach Ottoman history, and in 2011, Turkey established a very good relation with Somalia. When the Western countries saw Somalia or African countries as a place where they can colonize them, but Turkey see the country as a brotherly country where Turkey need to extend its helping hand. Yeah, you mentioned that is a great point. Thank you so much for this. So after getting a scholarship, you came to Turkey. And I know that when you first came to Turkey, you have faced some problems. Normally, we Turkish people, we know that Turkish people are very helpful, and they're good in good manner in hosting people, especially people from other countries, especially people from African countries. But I know that you have faced some problem immediately after coming to Turkey. This is a different country, different culture, different language, and also food culture. So can you please tell us that problem? How did you face it, and how did you overcome it?
First of all, I came to Turkey in 2012, and I get a scholarship from the Turkish government, and I get an opportunity to study emergency and disaster management. In my childhood plan, I was planning to become an engineer like my father, but in 2011, what happened in Somalia, the natural disaster, that made me to change my choice and study emergency and disaster management.
So you studied emergency and disaster management in undergraduate level?
Yeah, that's really the first time when I get the list of faculties that I can enroll in Turkey. I realized that this department is the most appropriate one to my to study it, because of my nation, because of the whole, as you know, in all the world there's a natural and man-made disasters like climate change, population movement, and I really turned it in 180 degrees from engineering to disaster management.
Yeah.
And after that, I studied at Çanakkale on 6 Mart. Even when I got accepted from that university, I didn't able to pronounce the name. Because in Somalia we don't have
this
J.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying up to I came to Turkey, I was saying I was going to Çanakkale University. That's why really, and when I came to Turkey, we came with a lot of Somalian students from different regions in Somalia. And when we come to Atatürk Airport,
Atatürk Airport in Istanbul.
Yeah, in Istanbul.
First you came from Addis Ababa to
from Mogadishu to
direct flight.
Direct
flight.
Yeah.
Okay.
We came, and after that, there's officers from Türkiye Bursları, Turkish scholarship. They bring us to the bus station to the Otaga, and after that they took us a ticket and they said you are going to Çanakkale, and I don't know where the Çanakkale and how I can get my.
How far is it?
I don't have any information about it, and it was in the midnight at 12 o'clock.
Oh my God!
And when we took the bus, and in the early morning, we managed to reach Çanakkale, and the company that took us, the bus company, they have shuttle services that will go to our dormitory. I had a piece of paper that written my address, dormitory address, and I give it to him. He checked it. He said, "Are you going to there with Turkish?" I don't know what he's saying. He said, "We are going to here." He's speaking with Turkish language, and I am speaking with my Somalian language. But no one can understand each other. They bring us to the...
So you could use some
body language, like Chinese, so they are managed. After that, really it was so raining at that time. They bring it from the bus station to the dormitory. And at that time, when we came, we stayed at Kayaka, what they said, the government dormitories. And the security guard, they said, "Hoş geldiniz." I don't know
welcome.
what it means. It means after days, I realized that it means welcome. And they took it us, and they took it as a special part of the dormitory that is for the guests.
For the guests.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are not we are not official registered for that dormitory.
So you have to stay there
Yeah.
for as a guest.
As guest.
Okay.
And we came here in Turkey and a day before Eid, what they say, Eid al-Adha.
Eid al-Adha.
Yeah.
Day before
And-
Eid al-Adha, everywhere is closed.
Yeah, it was in official holidays, and they all governmental institutions they are working half day, and in the morning when we wake up, they said you can go to the restaurant and you can get a breakfast, and we were 9 from Somalia. We go together to the where we are taking breakfast, and the guy who's working there, what he say, we have to get your fingerprint. I said, what are you saying?
You were talking about to go to the dormitory's cafeteria for
yeah,
the breakfast,
yeah,
not the outside.
No,
Dormitory's cafeteria for the breakfast.
As you know, the governmental dormitory, they are using fingerprint for entering
for the registered students.
And we don't have any information about that issues. And the guy that works in the restaurant, when he said we have to get your fingerprint, I said, what are you saying? I'm not criminal. Why you want for my fingerprint? He said I had to get. I said, with which reason you? To eat you have to get your fingerprint.
But in your country, fingerprint is for
for criminal records.
Criminal records.
Or in the airports or something, or visa application. And I get really surprised at what he is doing. I said, okay, for eating you want fingerprint. Let's do it. And when I take it, the system didn't recognize me because I'm not registered. I'm not official student in that dormitory. And he said, I can't able to give you a breakfast. After that, we went back to our base, to our home, to our rooms. And after 3 or 4 hours, one of the managers in the dormitory, he came to us and he asked it to us, did you eat breakfast? We didn't understand what he's saying. At that time,
even none of them
know English,
no other language.
You know, if we're in Istanbul or in Ankara, mega cities, you can manage to get someone who can speak English.
Yeah.
But in a city like Çanakkale, we didn't get it. But fortunately, there were a guy from Mauritania who was as a guest in that dormitory. And they said, do you know Arabic? Yeah, I said. They bring it us, that friend from Mauritania. And we explained our problems and what they are not, they didn't give us the breakfast and everything. And he translated to Turkish. After that, he surprised the manager. He said, how they can do that? Yeah. He written a piece of paper that he said in 7 days, that official holiday for the Eid, he written that these students, they can eat and enter in the dormitory without any restriction or without any problem. And that letter, it was our, how can I say, it's more important than our identity.
Yeah.
Really, when we are going outside, we are showing the security, and when they read, they are giving permission to enter and to go to the outside. Really, it was so difficult. After that, at that day, we went to the police station for getting a residence or for registration, and there is a missing document from us. That day, we couldn't able to register and to get the residence. After that, they say you have to wait 7 days because there's official holiday. We returned back to the dormitory. After that, we don't know where to go. We don't know the language. We don't know the culture. We don't know the people. And the next day it was Eid, and we went to the mosque for the Eid prayer. And in Somali, you know, we are Shafi, and in Turkey, Hanafi. when in Somali normally when they read Fatiha, at the end of Fatiha they are
I
saying
mean, you are saying that, I mean, the different religious sect, I mean,
Yeah.
the Shafi sect and Hanafi sect, they are Sunni, both of them are Sunni,
Yeah.
but they have some different way of praying.
Yeah.
You are saying that,
Yeah.
yes.
At the end of Fatiha in Somalia, we are saying Amin at high sound, loudly.
Louder.
When we are saying nine
Nine
people,
students
yeah,
saying Amin
together,
louder
Amin.
together.
And after the prayer, they said,
That's
what
too
happened
much.
to us?
Yes.
And they think that we have a problem, or they collected money for us. I said, we don't want money. This is why you said Amin. I said, it's Shafi and this normal. They said, here is in Hanafi. That's why really it was so difficult. The first 5 days we faced a lot of problem.
So after all this, a lot of problem, actually,
Yeah.
really, I mean, in Turkey, it's very difficult to find out this type of problem for international students,
Yeah.
actually, because as I told earlier that international students don't face normally this type of problem. Everybody actually welcome them and try to help them, as you also face some problem for the past couple of hours. Then
Yeah.
when you find out a translator, then
Yeah.
all problems are solved. But after that bad days, I mean, I can understand the situation of your, especially the psychological situation at that time. You came from your country, you just completed your high school and came to another country, a dream country, and after coming to that dream country, you face difficult problems. But since then, from there, now you are in a top position of Turkish Red Crescent. You are an expert on disaster management. This is not a very simple position, especially for an international graduate. You came here, and to come here, I think you have to pass so many steps in your life. What other steps? I mean, after getting there, I know that you also have some issue with Turkish migration authorities also, as I remember.
Let me explain. At that time, really, my father, he was my motivation and my role model. And in the first days, I really decided to go back to Somalia.
First day after coming here?
Yeah, because...
After facing all these issues?
Because we don't have any, how can I say you, we don't have any access to the social needs. Like, as we are not registered here and there's holiday, I said, really, whoever you are or whatever title you have, if you don't know the language of that country, you are nothing. That's why really when I get terrible with the language, I give it. I said I can't able to study that language.
So first you could not get into the cafeteria or restaurant of that dormitory. Then it was somehow solved.
Yeah.
And then you tried to get residence permit from the Turkish migration authorities, right?
Yeah.
Turkish migration authorities to get residence permit. And due to that 7 days clause, you did not get that also, right?
Really, yeah. After the holiday, it was, we get a friend from Syria. He helped us to prepare the required documents, and it was really so easy. But if you don't know the language, really, it's the barrier of the language. It's really the most difficult thing that we face it. After that, I decided to. When my father, I speak with my father. He said, "You had dream to study abroad, and this is the first step. Don't give up. You have to undergo a lot. You will undergo a lot of." Problems, and you have to manage it. That's why he motivated me, and I decided to study this language, and I really get motivated 100%, and I decided to help the others who will come to in Çanakkale, and because the one who faces this problem, he can know it, how it's difficult. That's why one day I went to the immigration office, and when I studied the Turkish language for my renewal of my residence, and he said, "You are speaking Turkish language so nice. What other language you know?" I said, "I know Arabic, English, and Somali." And automatically he took my information and he said, "As in police authorities, we have at that time there were no immigration office like Göçidare is what they say in Turkish language in 2012. At that time he took my number and he said, we call you whenever we get illegal migration. As you know, Çanakkale is next to the Greece. And
for translation, translating.
For translation. So, and I said, I'm happy to do that because I know how difficult it is. At that time, I started to work with them part-time for the weekends. In the midnight, they were calling and they were saying, we are in Ayvacık, where there is a lot of...
So you start working there as a translator.
As translator.
So did they pay for it?
Yeah, it's not a high amount, but for person.
But for students, that's great.
It's pocket money.
Great. Yeah, that's great.
And I was not expecting a lot of wage.
So you have a part-time. I mean, you continued your part-time job there, and also you continued your study.
Yeah.
And you completed your undergraduate study.
Yeah. When I graduate from there, I automatically get another scholarship, YTB. They give it me second chance to do my master degree.
Because you had a good result in your honor?
Yeah, I had a good result, and I was the second student in my faculty.
Wow, you was the faculty second.
Yeah.
Let me congratulate you.
Thanks a lot.
No, yeah.
After that,
that's great.
Really.
So you came from Somali, you learned Turkish language, and your subject was in Turkish.
Yeah, 100% in Turkish.
I mean, the medium of instruction was Turkish.
Yeah.
And you studied with Turkish people, I mean, Turkish students who know Turkish as their native language, and you have to fight with them. I mean, fight means you have to compete with them, and you became the second in your faculty. That's great.
The first year, really, my GPA, it was so low.
Yeah, normally it's normal, but becoming...
When I started the university, really, the first lecture, when he started to speak the Turkish language, I said, I studied the wrong language, because the academic language and the normal language is so totally different.
Yes.
And really, I get difficult in my first year. After that, I worked hard, and I managed to get an honor student.
So you got the second scholarship, and after second scholarship for master's study.
For master,
in the same university.
No, in 9 Eylül University in İzmir.
In İzmir, another city. Another city.
Yeah, my bachelor was emergency and disaster management, but my master, I just went to the management, disaster management, because.
So after completing your masters, you study PhD, right?
Yeah. Now I'm PhD candidate. I'm
Which
PhD
university?
student. Also in 9 Eylül University.
In İzmir.
Yeah, so at the same field, disaster management.
Disaster management.
Yeah.
So you are living in Ankara, and your university is in
Izmir.
In Izmir, and now you are working with Turkish Red Crescent.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you get chance at Turkish Red Crescent as an expert, disaster management expert. It is not too easy. It's very tough, and I know that in Turkish official agencies, it's really very tough to get chance for a foreigner or foreign student, foreign graduate. How did you get it?
Yes. And when I graduated from my bachelor and studied my first year in master degree, I started working with Turkish Red Crescent as volunteer in my last year in my bachelor and my master degree. And in Izmir, there is a Turkish Red Crescent community centers who deals with the refugees and with the asylum seekers.
Yeah, Turkish Red Crescent. Let me tell something about Turkish Red Crescent. Turkish Red Crescent is the largest humanitarian aid agency in Turkey, and also the oldest humanitarian aid agency in Turkey. It was established around 152 years ago, and now it works more than, dozens of countries across the world. It works on humanitarian aid, supporting asylum seekers, blood donation, emergency aid to people under natural disaster, and also it has a capacity to send its aid very fast across the world. So you have been working local office of this Turkish Red Crescent.
Yeah, I worked as a translator in the protection offices in Izmir Community Center, and also I worked in the Izmir branch as a volunteer.
This is completely volunteer.
Yeah.
No paid money, nothing.
Yeah, without any expect for money, or just I how can I say you, volunteerism is to do something without expecting any feedback from that. I started to work with them. I was going to the school 3 days, and 2 days I was going to the Izmir Community Center.
So how long did you continue this volunteer work?
2 years.
So after 2 years?
After 2 years, I went to Istanbul, and the manager of Çanakkale Immigration Office, he went from Çanakkale to Istanbul. And I went for him to congratulate for his new position. And he said to me, "What are you doing?" I said to him, "I'm doing my thesis on disaster management." And he said, "Do you have time to work with us? As I know you worked together in Çanakkale." And he invited me to involve with his team. And I really become so happy. And I applied, and I get the acceptance and everything. And in Istanbul, I worked with the Istanbul Immigration Office for 1.5 years. After that, there were a job, the Turkish Red Crescent, in their job portal, there was an opportunity in disaster management.
There was a circular from Turkish Red Crescent for disaster management.
Yeah, and they were searching disaster management experts. And the requirement is so difficult. First, you have to know more than one language. You have to be able to work under difficult situations, and you don't have any restriction for the traveling. You have to get a license, driving license, and so on. There's a lot of requirements, and really I check it and I say that this is my appropriate position, and I apply it, and really it was so tough situation. They took it as written exam. That long is 3 hours, and when you enter the short list, they called us to the interview. After in that interview, also they took us an English proficiency exam, and this duration, it was really 6 or 7 months.
7 months.
Yeah. After that, I was among 11 experts that took it to work with Turkish Red Crescent.
So you were the only one,
the foreign one, yeah.
The single foreigner,
the
single lucky man.
Yeah.
So after getting involved with Turkish Red Crescent, tell us about your experience. As we know from outside that Turkish Red Crescent has a huge network across the world,
Yeah.
and it has collected a lot of money and sent all corner of the world
Yeah.
who needs it to the needy people. What is your experience with Turkish Red Crescent? How many countries you visited? What kind of people did you meet with and support?
Yeah. And now I'm in Turkish Red Crescent approximately 2 years, and in that duration, I'm working as disaster recovery expert in disaster recovery department. What means disaster recovery? For example, when there's a disaster, first the response team they will go to the field, and we go together with the response team. In disaster recovery, there's two stages: in short recovery and long recovery. And the examples of short recovery, we give psychological support to the affected people. And at that time, let me give you an example. In January in 2020, there were earthquake in Elazığ, and we went.
Elazığ in Turkish city, yes.
Yeah, and we went there. I was working in that operation 45 days there, and I was a member in the team of who is responsible for the coordination of the mass feeding. You know, in Turkish they have a national disaster management plan. In
Yes.
Turkish, the abbreviation they say TAMP, and Turkish Red Crescent, the first response they are responsible for the mass feeding. And for example, when there's disaster, the Turkish government they expect from Turkish Red Crescent a mass feeding operation, and there is the second responsibility like collecting donations, like communication assistant.
So
Like-
when there is a disaster,
Yeah.
first you go there. I mean, as Turkish Red Crescent, you
Yeah.
go to the field, and you organize a very fast response team, and you support them with food first time, with
Yeah.
food and with how can we say, with some accommodation,
Yeah, shelter
instant
also.
accommodation, instant shelter,
Mm.
and then you also organize some type of long-term
Recovery.
solution
Yeah.
for the people who face this disaster, and different type of disaster. It can be earthquake, it can be
Flood.
cyclone, it can be floods, it can be drought,
Yeah.
it can be some type of war zone like
Yeah.
Syria and Iraq
Yeah.
and Afghanistan also. As Turkish Red Crescent, you are doing all this type of thing, and and your job is to assess the
People in need.
yes, assess the people in need. How many people need how many thing, and how many, and within how many days, this type of thing.
Yeah.
So outside Turkey, how many countries you already have been engaged with?
Yeah, I went to Somalia, my own country.
Yes, that is a great thing.
Yeah.
I mean, after completing your university, working with top Turkish humanitarian aid organization, especially run by Turkish government, and go back to your own country for help. That is a
It was so nice opportunity for me to serve my country and to represent Turkish institution really. As I know the language, as I know the culture, and we went for the Qurban program to Somalia.
Eid al-Adha
Adha.
program. Yes.
And we went there, and we was 11, a team with 11 officers, and really.
So you distribute meat to people.
Yeah, we distribute
people.
meat to the needed people, and really I was acting as translator, as liaison officer, as
All kind of work you did with them.
because as I know the environment, the people, really we didn't get any difficulties. when we go to the field, really, and I can make a contact with the community and with my colleagues.
Yeah, also
easily.
in Somalia also they have a good how can we say, a good approach to Turkish people. Actually,
Yeah,
they welcome
they
Turkish
welcome.
people, and there are so many Somalian graduates
Turkey.
who graduated from Turkey, Somalian people who graduated from Turkey and work in different institutions in Somalia, and even with in politics they are very active.
Yeah.
And we know that the current Somalian
Justice Minister. Yeah.
yes, current Somalian Justice Minister was appointed, I think, 2-3 days ago.
Yeah,
He was a Turkish graduate.
Yeah.
Actually, we need to congratulate him
From here.
from face to face. Congratulate to this great Somalian man and the Turkish graduate, Turkish alumni. We congratulate him and we wish best of luck, and we wish he will be one of the best politicians in the country.
Yeah.
And the new comer, the Somalian people who currently studying in Turkey, also involved in politics to support the people of that country and for the betterness of their country. Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead.
And also that's my first operation outside Turkey, and I had a lot of operations in Turkey, like Elazığ earthquake, like Çankırı flood operation, like Istanbul and earthquake, and I get a lot of experience with working in Turkish Red Crescent. I'm working in the disaster operation center. Is the heart of management. Is the heart of the disaster management activities. It's in the headquarters of Turkish Red Crescent, and really I get contacted with a lot of stakeholders, and at that time I get a lot of professional training from Turkey and from outside Turkey, like IFRC, International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society, like ICRC. And really, it was a great opportunity to become a member of Turkish disaster response team. And Turkish Red Crescent, they are working outside Turkey, and they have approximately 19 delegation offices outside Turkey, like Somali, Sudan, South Sudan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Pakistan, in Bulgaria, and so on. And when there's a disaster in Somalia, no need to go from here. Already
No need to send team from Turkey.
Yeah, already there is experts in Somalia.
They can dispatch their local team immediately.
And they can go, how can say, so quickly, because from here to Somalia, really it takes 8 hours. Disaster management, to respond a disaster, you have to become quick,
yes,
and you have to be in the field at the initial minutes of the disasters. For example, in Elazığ, inside 20 or 30 minutes, our first responder team, they went to the field. And
they reach the people after 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, because
it's very fast, actually.
Yeah,
it's very fast. Yeah.
In Elazığ, we have a disaster management center. The system of disaster management in TRC, they have a regional disaster management. For example, in Ankara, in Elazığ, in Istanbul, in Düzce. For example, every regional disaster management office, they have responsible areas. Yeah. For example,
that disaster management is not only for one city or one country.
Yeah. For example, the Istanbul, they are responsible the disaster that occur in Yalova, in Bursa,
Got it.
They are going for the initial intervention to the field.
So, what is your target? Next target? I mean, you have been working with a great team, really a great team. I mean, Turkish disaster response team is very fast across the world. We saw it in Pakistan when there was a flood. We saw it in Indonesia when there was earthquake, and Turkish disaster management team reached very fast, not in Turkey and also other countries also.
For example, in Azerbaijan recently, our team, disaster management team, they went with the relief aid to the from all the way from Ankara to the
To-
Baku
to
and
Baku,
to
and
the
then to
Baku
Baku.
to the where there's affected people. Really, it's a long journey that long is in 3 to 4 days. And Turkish Red Crescent, they are going to everywhere in around the world where there is a needed the people in need.
I mean, without
Any
any kind of
discrimination or
discrimination, whether it is Muslim country or
or-
Muslim society
yeah.
or from any other religion. The first motto is whether if you are
Human,
needed,
human.
yes, if you are human, we reach you.
Yeah, because they have how can I say you in the movement Red Crescent movement. They had rules and for example they have in one of our rules you have to be a natural, you have to be a voluntary service, you have to be impartial, and there's impartiality.
There is no religion,
yeah.
no political view, no country,
Yeah.
nothing. You are a citizen of the world,
Yeah.
and you are a human being, and you need to support every human being who needs your support.
Yeah.
That's great. So you are inside this huge, and I can say this noble team,
Yeah.
a team that do some kind of sacred and noble work.
Yeah.
So what is your target? I mean, this is a
Yeah.
general question I ask every graduate and every students, international students who join me. I ask, what is your target? Of course, you have some big plan, and we need to have some big plan. We need to look forward. What
Yeah.
is your target?
My target is to first to graduate from my PhD, from my doctorate, and after that, I'm planning to become a senior disaster management. I'm just now in my earlier time in my professional
Earlier
journey.
stage of your
Yeah.
profession.
Yeah.
So you
And
want to be a senior disaster management expert.
Yeah, and to become senior, you have to really fill your pocket with a lot of education, with a lot of experience.
And not a lot of money.
Not a
Not
lot
with
of
a lot
money.
of money. You can fully
Yeah, with
your pocket
education.
with dedication and education and experience and everything.
Yeah, and I want to become someone who get involved with not just local or someone who is involved with international organizations who's dealing with disaster management. And also I have a side plan that to become an instructor in the university, to become a lecturer, that for example what you get in the field, the experience you have to
You need to
have
share
to
with
share
your
with
students.
others.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why really I also in my plan I want to become a lecturer in the universities in Turkey or outside Turkey, and to how can I say you to give what I get from the field and what I get from my educational background
So
to the
you-
others.
So you want to be a high-profile international disaster management expert,
Yeah,
as well as a teacher
yeah,
for university to share your experience
to the others.
with students. to
You
the
know,
others.
when you share your knowledge to the others, it makes sense, because if you know everything and when you die, what you know, it will go with you. But when you transfer or when you share with others, it will become so important, because what you know, you have to share with others. You have to do how know what we say.
Yeah, best wishes for you.
Yeah.
You also told me that after facing some initial problems, I want to support all kind of people who needs
Yeah.
my support, or who needs support, who is
Yeah.
needy. That actually I think that change your mind. I
Yeah,
mean,
what
from-
drives me to
Yeah.
study disaster management, to be in the humanitarian aid section, is I like to help the others because in, in the Quran it says if you rescue one person, it means you rescue
Rescue the whole world.
the whole world.
Yeah.
And
That
this
a
is
very
my
big
philosophy.
motto.
This
Yes,
is my
this is a very good motto, a good philosophy.
this is my motivation in quotes, and that's why I'm in the
Great.
humanitarian aid section.
Best of luck. Best of luck.
Thanks a
Actually,
lot.
it was a nice discussion, and thank you for much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with us and sharing your experience. And we will hope to see you again and
Thanks a
host
lot.
you again. Thank
Really,
you.
I'm pleasure to be with you here in this program, and really it was a great opportunity to transfer what is inside of me to the others, and to become role model to the students who studying in Turkey on outside Turkey, because to be a foreign student in one country, really it has a lot of difficulties. Also, it has a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
And
Thank you again. Thank you.
thanks a lot.
And we are at the end of our program, and let's hope for the better world.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you. See you again.